Yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G133. I want to welcome you guys back here to the Legit Shoot podcast here with your Smackdown Live review and results for February 7th, 2020. Thank you guys for joining me right here on the podcast here tonight. If you guys hear me trying not to be so loud, it's because I have people sleeping in my house right now, and I don't want to make too much noise. But we are still going to do the podcast to the best of our ability. To be honest, guys, I don't know how long we're going to go tonight. I don't really expect this to be like 50 minutes to an hour like we usually do, because not a lot happened on this show. This show was very, very boring. This was a very boring edition of SmackDown, man. I just don't understand it. You know, Fox is paying $1 billion for this? For this, really? Are we being serious here? This is what Fox is paying for? I don't get it. I really don't. With the way SmackDown has been, basically, since the Survivor Series ended, because we were getting decent shows up until the Survivor Series. Ever since then, SmackDown's really has not been that good. There's been a couple, outlier weeks here and there, but for the most part, for the last 2-3 months, SmackDown has not been good. I don't get it. They have the talent. I expected SmackDown to be better than Monday Night Raw. For years, I've come on here and I've ranted on Raw, and then most weeks I've said SmackDown's decent, but now it seems like everything's flipped their heads. There's weeks now that I don't even want to do a SmackDown review. Like, you guys noticed, there's been some weeks when I haven't done a SmackDown review because SmackDown it just hasn't been good. That's just the honest truth. SmackDown has just had weeks where it has not been good. It's just been disappointing. And, tonight, I'm not going to say tonight was a bad show. It's just nothing happened. Most weeks SmackDown's not even bad. It's just nothing happened. At least with Raw has stuff that happens that I could come on and talk about, Raw has stuff that has me interested. Like Monday Night Raw this week was pretty good. We had, the whole Randy Orton and Edge thing go down. We had Brock Lesnar's challenger for Super Showdown announced. We have Drew McIntyre. We have, Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and AOP continuing their feud with Kevin Owens. Like, there's a decent amount of stuff to talk about with Raw every week. And, we also had, Rhea Ripley showing up on Monday Night Raw for the first time. But most weeks when it comes to SmackDown, there's nothing to talk about. I didn't do a review last week because what happened? Honestly, what happened with SmackDown last week? Baron Corbin got dog food put on him. Okay, wow. That's something I really want to talk about tonight. All right? Let's spend 30 minutes talking about Baron Corbin finally getting dog crap put on him. That's not interesting to me. I don't want to spend, because we all have stuff to do. We all have our own lives, right? SmackDown just hasn't had anything interesting happen to it in the last couple weeks. I'm still waiting for us to get started on this Sasha Banks and Bayley feud. I know Sasha Banks, she was at the arena tonight. She was in the San Francisco area. She had a meet and greet, earlier in the day. Sasha put on her Instagram, I'm feeling like I'm at 102%. I'm not coming back till I'm at 125%. I know Sasha legit has an ankle injury. I don't know how bad it is because in the photos she wasn't wearing no ankle brace. There was no tape. There was nothing. She was wearing high heel boots, actually, at her meet and greet today. So, I don't know. To be honest, I don't mind it, because if they're trying to keep Sasha Banks off television and they want her to be 125% going through WrestleMania season, I'm all for it. Because I'm expecting the Sasha Banks and Bayley feud to be the best thing on SmackDown once it gets started. Because we have Super Showdown, and then we have a SmackDown the day after Super Showdown in Boston, right in my neck of the woods, right across the street from my house, we have SmackDown. I don't know if I'm attending or anything like that, but I expect that's around the time when Sasha Banks will make her return, and we'll we'll see where we're going, because until Super Showdown comes around and Elimination Chamber, because we still have a long way to go to WrestleMania. We still have 2 weeks, guys. 2 months. We still got 2 long months till WrestleMania. It's crazy to think about, but SmackDown just doesn't really have anything interesting going on. Like SmackDown, it's like they're trying to get the Super Showdown, because they know after that, that's when they really go ham with the WrestleMania build. Right after Super Showdown, we have about 5 weeks till WrestleMania. I don't know, SmackDown's just, they're trying to get to this Super Showdown show, get that out of the way, and then that's when they go heavy on the build for WrestleMania. Like, there's rumors right now that Shayna Baszler's gonna show up this Monday on Monday Night Raw to start her feud with Becky Lynch. Because we know we're getting a Becky Lynch versus Asuka Raw Women's Championship match. I hope Shayna Baszler, shows up and causes a disqualification, because I don't want to see Asuka lose clean again. I'm hoping that's not what we get. But you guys see where I'm coming from with that. But Raw, there's a lot of stuff going on at Raw each week. SmackDown, other than what we got tonight with Goldberg and Bray Wyatt, which will be the main focus of tonight's review, nothing else happened, really. They're doing Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin again in a steel cage. I don't give a shit about that. I know you guys don't care about that either. Who the hell cares about Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin? Was the last 3 months not enough? Was Roman Reigns spearing Baron Corbin in a ballpark? Was that not enough? Was Roman Reigns putting dog food on Baron Corbin along with the Usos last week? Was that not enough? Why are they still giving us this? It is legit garbage at this point, And I already talked about mainly, Bayley and Sasha Banks, but we still have a long way to go before we get there. Because like I said, I don't expect them to start the actual feud between Sasha and Bayley not until right after Super Showdown, right before Elimination Chamber. That's when I expect us to start getting the heavy build for Sasha and Bayley. But tonight we had a SmackDown main evented headline by a fatal 4-way match. We had Carmella, Dana Brooke, Alexa Bliss, and Naomi. I didn't care about the match at all, but Carmella won that tonight. I know Corey Graves must have been happy. Corey, your girlfriend has a SmackDown Women's Championship opportunity. And the thing about it is, they're actually doing this match for Super Showdown. So it looks like, I guess Saudi Arabia, they're okay with having the woman wrestle every time at Saudi Arabia, which is history. That's great. Sasha and Alexa Bliss, they set the foundation for that when they had that match. I don't remember where it was. Well, I don't know if it was in Saudi Arabia, but it was somewhere in the Middle East. But, clearly you guys can see that, Carmella versus Bayley. There's no chance Carmella. there's legit no shot that Carmella's gonna actually defeat Bayley before WrestleMania. I'm not interested in it. I know you guys aren't interested in it. And thank the Lord Almighty that Lacey Evans has not been on television the last couple weeks. Thank the Lord. I can't stand Lacey Evans, and I know you can't either. Alright, but let's get into SmackDown. I don't even have the notes. I didn't even take notes. I'm just going on Bleacher Report. Because honestly, man, if you skip this show, other than Goldberg and Bray Wyatt being announced for Super Showdown, Nothing else happened on this show. Absolutely nothing. But the show started off with the return of the Dirt Sheet. You know, I was a little kid when Miz and Morrison were a tag team back in their first run with John Morrison's first run with WWE. I enjoyed the Dirt Sheet. The Dirt Sheet's actually pretty entertaining. John Morrison and The Miz as a tag team is pretty entertaining. They have fantastic chemistry, and I didn't really mind this segment. It wasn't bad, you know. Miz and Morrison came out and, you know, reintroduced the Dirt Sheet to the WWE Universe, and they had a world premiere. They had a trailer. This was funny. They had a trailer of Once Upon a Time on the Dirt Sheet. It was actually a pretty entertaining trailer, alright? We had a cameo from the greatest WWE superstar of all time, The Miz's father, the great Mizion. You guys know his name is George, just like mine. So, you know, anybody that has the name George is automatically goated. But he did make a surprising cameo in this trailer. You know, he talked about how Kofi Kingston is his favorite main roster superstar, and how, you know, The Miz needs to learn to do flips and kicks and dives like he does. But, you know, it was actually a pretty entertaining trailer. You know, it wasn't bad, not bad. But, you know, afterwards, Miz and Morrison, they went on talking about how I don't care if you guys boo us. I only care that if, as long as the trailer, as long as the movie gets, you know, approved and gets an A+ from the people at the Academy, so we could get an Oscar for this movie. John Morrison is pretty entertaining. You know, I don't mind him as heels. You know, even though WWE doesn't, they, you know, kind of dropped the ball on John Morrison. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. You know, John Morrison as a heel has been pretty entertaining. He's not bad. He's been babyface most of his career, but, you know, him and Miz as heels, I'm for it. I'm for it. It's just, as long as WWE knows how to book them, that's the big thing. If WWE could book them properly, hey, you would have, you know, all my support. But afterwards, the New Day interrupted. You know, the New Day, they didn't really say anything special. There was a funny part where Big E was looking at his mic, and he found like his microphone inside Kofi Kingston's popcorn bucket. That was actually a pretty funny scene. But basically, you know, New Day didn't really say anything special. He basically, you know, it was just New Day saying they're gonna beat Miz and Morrison at Super Showdown. I expect it to be a good match. But we'll probably make predictions on that when we get closer. I expect the Miz and Morrison to probably win the tag team titles. You know, I think, you know, John Morrison coming back, and you know how WWE loves to give, you know, returning superstars titles as quick as possible. Like, I thought Naomi would be the one to face Bayley and win the Fatal 4-Way tonight, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the podcast. But, you know, Miz and Morrison here, I expect them to win the tag team titles. If the New Day, you know, retain, I won't be mad or sad or anything like that. I just would be surprised if Miz Morrison didn't win the tag team titles at Super Showdown. You know, WWE has been building them up to win those titles, so it would be surprising. The only way I could see them not winning the titles is if WWE was going to save, you know, a victory like that for like WrestleMania or something like that. But the Usos came out. You guys know how much I love the Usos. The Usos and Undisputed Era are my favorite tag teams in WWE. The Usos, because Miz Morrison, they said they had beaten all the tag teams on SmackDown to earn this opportunity, which is kind of true, because they beat the New Day in 2 singles matches, and they beat Lucha House Party, Revival, and Heavy Machinery in that Fatal 4-Way a couple weeks back. But it was just like, you haven't beat us yet, which is kind of true, but I wasn't really that interested. I don't know, because I feel like we've seen the Usos and the New Day so many times over the years Like, as great as a match it would be, I don't see that. No matter what, this is what I think is probably gonna happen. We're on the road to WrestleMania, right? WWE doesn't usually do a normal tag team match at WrestleMania for the tag team belts. What I think usually what WWE does is they'll probably put like the Raw Tag Team Championships on the pre-show, and then they'll put the SmackDown Tag Team titles on the main show. But what I expect them to do is they're not going to do a normal 2-on-2 match. They're going to do like a triple threat tag team or a fatal 4-way tag team. It's probably going to be, New Day, no matter if New Day retains or the Miz and Morrison win at Super Showdown. And remember, we still have Elimination Chamber after that, the last pay-per-view before Mania. What I think is going to happen is we're going to have a triple threat between the Usos, Miz and Morrison, and the New Day, no matter who's the champions, and that's gonna be your match for Mania. Maybe the Usos win the tag team titles once again, because we all know WrestleMania is when WWE likes to change all its champions. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and find out, but it's definitely something to look out for. I wouldn't even mind. We might get Heavy Machinery. I've been saying for months, Heavy Machinery should probably win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. But, right now they're doing this great Otis storyline with Mandy Rose. They did a funny bit tonight where, they showed Otis getting ready for his Valentine's date next week with Mandy Rose. It's going to be interesting to see, will Mandy break Otis's heart? Or will Otis get some of Mandy Rose's cheeks on Valentine's Day? We'll just have to wait and see. But that's definitely something to look forward to, I guess, for next week's SmackDown, if they, if they make that a segment on the show. But anyway, the Usos came out, and I thought the Usos were gonna probably challenge Miz and Morrison for their number one contendership. But they didn't, because they had already planned for a Usos versus Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode match, which I didn't care about at all, because Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode are losers on WWE television, so absolutely not. But right before, as Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode's music played, Miz Morrison attacked the New Day and the Usos, but the Usos sent them running, and that would lead us into the tag team match. So we come back from break, and this wasn't a bad match. Like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, they're talented. We all know this. This is that WWE doesn't know how to freaking book them properly. This wasn't a bad match. I just hope this is the last time we see these four in the ring together, because I am so sick and tired of seeing these four in the ring. This has been almost other than the Revival, the Usos have been fighting, these two for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm so tired of seeing Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler against the Usos. No matter if it's in a 6-man tag with Roman and Corbin, if it's in a backstage brawl, if it's in, them interfering in a Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin match, or if it's in a normal tag team match like we saw tonight. I am tired of seeing these four in the ring. Hopefully this is it. No more. I don't want to see this. And they probably won't, because look, we're getting Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin in a freaking steel cage match. I'm so excited for that. But you guys can see where I'm coming from in that regard. But, like a typical tag team match, the heels dominated most of this match. Basically, Jay made the hot tag to his brother Jimmy. Jimmy, got the momentum. And Dolph Ziggler, at the end, he delivered a zigzag, but Jimmy kicked out it too. But the Usos made another comeback. They dropped Bobby Roode to the outside, and they did the top rope splash. Jimmy coming off the top rope is hilarious, because it seems like every time he comes off the jump rope, he's making some kind of face or has his tongue out. Like, I could already see they were making memes of him on Twitter tonight. But, Usos get another victory. I expect them to be in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship picture going forward. I would not be surprised if they make this into a triple threat match at Super Showdown, but if they don't, they'll save it for probably the Chamber or WrestleMania. You know, WrestleMania, I would love to see Heavy Machinery, get their moment and become champs. But we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, this is the end of this, rivalry. Next up, we had Elias versus Cesaro. All right, Elias came out, did his normal thing. He had actually, before we get into Elias and Cesaro, Baron Corbin. Was on tonight's show, and they they replayed Baron Corbin getting dog food put all over him. Like, I cared to see this. They didn't do anything for me. I didn't care at all. But Baron Corbin, having to relive the, humiliation that he went through last week, he invaded the production truck, and he started yelling, asking who's the guy responsible for playing that footage. And some poor black guy, man, some poor tech guy, he got beat down by Corbin. Corbin, ripped his head off, dragged him from his seat, and basically, tossed him down a flight of stairs. Officials came to tell Corbin, he can't be doing that. This guy's not a, in-ring talent. He's not a wrestler. He's just a production guy doing his job. Like, I cared. But the only thing that I actually, looked for, because we got a rare appearance by the legendary Kevin Dunn. Mr. Bucktooth Beaver himself. Kevin Dunn made an appearance on tonight's show. Yippee. Alright, anyway. In the ring, Elias is busy strumming his guitar, and Elias was playing for about a minute and a half, and the San Jose crowd, they were enjoying it. And afterwards, he was gonna play a new song entitled "Third Time's the Charm." I want to know, what's third time's the charm? What, third time's the charm for SmackDown having a decent show? What, third time's the charm Otis getting together with Mandy Rose? Or third time's the charm? What do you mean? You've been in WWE for about 2 years now. What, the third year? That's the charm? That's when you're gonna make your breakthrough? That's when you're actually gonna become someone I care about watching every single week on the main roster? Was that what you meant by third time's the charm, Elias? I don't know. What do I know? All right, but Cesaro and Sami Zayn cut him off. Of course, we all know this. Elias never gets to play his song. This is his gimmick. He comes out to play his guitar, he comes out to play his song, and right before he gets to playing, he gets cut off. That's the way Elias has always been. But nothing really happened here. Sami Zayn was basically mad because Elias supposedly interrupted him last week when he was doing his backstage interview after Shinsuke Nakamura lost the IC Championship. I didn't really care about any of this. This led to a match. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a bad match because it's Cesaro. Cesaro can have a decent match with a paper bag. But the thing is, WWE will never give Cesaro the spotlight that he deserves. Anyway, Elias actually, he showed me a little bit of offense in this match. Like, it was kind of cool. Well, he's not great in the ring. He's just not gonna do anything, super special that's gonna get the crowd going like, whoa. No, but still, at the end of the day, it wasn't bad. It wasn't awful, But Elias, he didn't quit tonight. He actually showed some resiliency, some perseverance, and Elias got the win. He did the Randy Savage elbow drop, which I think fits him quite nicely. So yeah, Elias gets a nice win. We'll probably see Elias and then now go on to probably Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't see him going up against Sami Zayn. I still don't know why, because we saw Sami Zayn wrestle a couple weeks ago in that 6-man tag match when we had Strowman and the New Day go up against Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura. So it's not like Satan's not clear to wrestle. I guess they just really love him in that manager role, you know. But I wouldn't mind seeing Elias versus Sami Zayn. I miss Sami Zayn the ring. You know, I miss seeing Sami Zayn with the blue thunderball. One of my favorite signature moves in WWE. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Next up, we had probably the big thing, right, that we gotta talk about. We had Roman Reigns. Well, not the big thing. All right, the big thing was Goldberg's interview. Goldberg announcing who was next. All right. And at first, I thought this was gonna be Roman Reigns versus Goldberg being announced. Well, I couldn't be more wrong based on what we got tonight. But I'll also tell you why Goldberg's opponent is going to be big for Roman Reigns. We'll get to that in just a sec. But we did get Baron Corbin. He came down to the ring. He started bitching and moaning, you know, how you guys need to all bow down to him because he's your king. And as the king, he cannot allow himself to get humiliated like the day what Roman Reigns did to him last week. And, you know, WWE does this. They have a plant in the crowd. A plant. So basically, a plant is basically when they hire a fan or they grab a fan like, hey, you want to be on TV? You want to be part of the show tonight? You know? So they had a fan over there. The fans were booing Baron Corbin because, of course, Corbin's one of the only guys that actually gets genuine heat on WWE TV. So Corbin comes out. He's basically talking to the crowd. You know, he's like, you guys are just idiots. You know, it was kind of ironic that WWE was in San Francisco tonight because Corbin is a very big Kansas City Chiefs fan. So Baron Corbin came out and basically was like, yeah, you guys are all garbage, just like your damn 49ers who lost to my Chiefs at the Super Bowl. So that one actually really hurt because San Jose just wouldn't stop booing Corbin after this. So then Corbin goes over to some guy in the crowd. He's like, you think you're funny? You think it's nice to be humiliated like that? You know, you like laughing at me, getting humiliated? You could tell this guy was a plant. So Corbin grabbed, I guess, the guy's drink. I don't think it was beer. I think it may have been like a Sprite or water, something like that. And he just threw it over the fan's head. And then it looked like he was going to throw something else. But then Roman Reigns came out. Reigns, you know, beat him down. Reigns gave him most of his signature moves. Superman, threw him into the stair steps, LED pose. I couldn't care. I was like, the only thing that got me thinking is, really, this is what we're doing? This is what we're doing. You're going to give us Roman Reigns and Corbin again. Was the last 3 months of this garbage not enough for you guys? Seriously. We've been dealing with this crap for 3 months. 3 months. And now you want to give us this match again? Really? Why? I don't understand WWE's logic. I really don't. At what point is enough not enough? Nobody gives a shit about this feud. Other than Lana and Bobby Lashley and the Rusev feud we've had the last couple months, this has been the worst thing on WWE television. It's probably the main reason why I can't stand watching SmackDown every week. But yet WWE keeps giving us the same garbage. I don't get it at all. I really don't. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what to think. You know, I would love to be in those production movies with freaking Richard Pillman or Bruce Pillman, whatever is his name. He's the guy that's running SmackDown, basically. I know, because still, you would think that with the XFL starting this weekend, you know, Vince would take a step back from WWE. You know, let his guys, let Triple H take over a little bit more and actually have more of an effect on these shows. But you can tell this is still very much run by Vince. Very much run by Vince. Like, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous, man. Like, damn. Reigns came out, did his moves, and basically Corbin retreated through the crowd. And Reigns is like, yeah, run away. Well, I'm going to make sure you can't run away and your boys can't get involved, because if you want one more match, I'll give it to you. You and me, steel cage match. Probably at Saudi Arabia. I don't care. I will probably not watch this match. Or at least I'll try to, use that as my bathroom break for Super Showdown. I have no care left for this feud at all. There's no amount of dog food. There's no amount of handcuffs. There's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do to make me care about Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin again. The story should have ended last week with Reigns getting his payback at the Royal Rumble, and then the ultimate payback with the dog food last week on SmackDown. I don't want to watch Reigns and Corbin going at it again for another 3 weeks until Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't care. Anytime we see these two, going at it over the next couple weeks, I would do my best not to pay attention. This is just pure stupidity. I don't understand how you can go into, a meeting planning what you're going to have on SmackDown tonight and be like, oh, let's do Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin again for the millionth time. This feud is absolutely dead. There's nothing you can do to make me have any interest in it at all. It's just facts. It's just facts. But let's get into the big thing. Let's get into the big thing that happened tonight. The main part of this review. After, Roman Reigns made his challenge to Baron Corbin, and we'll probably see more about this next week. Who gives a crap? I don't, and I know you guys don't care either. But we panned over to Goldberg, who was, I think live from his house in Texas, whatever. So basically, I'll give WWE credit where credit's due. They didn't waste no time. They didn't ask questions about what Goldberg's doing in his spare time. They had Goldberg go straight to the point. Goldberg said that he was inspired. He was inspired by the Royal Rumble. Really? You're in. Well, I can't get too mad at Goldberg for that comment, because the Men's Royal Rumble was pretty good, actually. The Royal Rumble as a pay-per-view was pretty good. It's crazy to me how most of these WWE pay-per-views are actually pretty decent. They're actually pretty decent. But it's just when it comes to the build towards these shows every single week, the builds are absolutely awful. But, Goldberg said that he was inspired by the Royal Rumble, and that it wanted him to get back in the ring. He said that he thought about going after Brock Lesnar again, the WWE champion, but, he couldn't, because he knew that Lesnar had other things he was preoccupied now with Ricochet for Super Showdown, and McIntyre going to WrestleMania, assuming, of course, that he successfully defends against Ricochet, which he will. Ricochet has zero chance, absolutely zero chance against Lesnar. We all know this. But Goldberg said he desired another run with the Universal Championship. So basically, Goldberg challenges Bray Wyatt. I'm just going to state this off the bat. I have absolutely no desire to see a Goldberg Bray Wyatt match. I have no desire to see that at all. Like, why would I? Why would I care about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar? Have you guys forgotten? I seen people on Twitter tonight being like, oh, hell yes, Goldberg versus The Fiend. That could be absolutely amazing. Have you idiots forgotten? For people, this is specifically for people that are excited about Goldberg and Bray Wyatt. I gotta fix my camera. My camera's acting up. Anyway, have you forgotten what happened when Goldberg went up against The Undertaker at Super Showdown last year? Or am I just the only person that remembers watching that match? It was one of the worst. It probably was the worst match in all of WWE that entire calendar year. The match was absolutely atrocious. And it really wasn't even Undertaker's fault. Both not to get anything wrong. I don't want anybody to get this wrong. Goldberg and Undertaker, both men should be retired. But at least at his age, Undertaker could give us a little bit more than a freaking Goldberg. Goldberg looked absolutely awful. The guy had a concussion. The guy bloodied himself and gave himself a concussion 30 seconds into the match and could barely finish it. The match was so bad that when Undertaker won at the end, you could visibly see, you could legit see Undertaker was pissed. You could see how pissed off Undertaker was about how the match went. And I don't think we've seen Undertaker on WWE TV sets. I'm trying to remember, yeah. I don't think Undertaker's been on WWE TV since Super Showdown. Since he went up against Goldberg. It was Goldberg's fault that match was so bad. And we all said that Goldberg should not be in the ring again. He should not come back in the ring again after that travesty. But here we are. When was that match? I think April or May of last year. Here we are now in February. Excuse me. You're telling me you're going to give us Goldberg and The Undertaker? Not Goldberg and Bray Wyatt? Why? What are you expecting? Like, I know Goldberg doesn't care. He should. The guy's supposed to be one of the greatest of all time. Goldberg was never, an amazing in-ring performer. But his character, the personality, the man who built Goldberg, yes, that's great. But he was never a guy that was going to give you like a 5-star classic unless he was paired with an in-ring technician. A guy like a Shawn Michaels. Like a Triple H early in his career. An Undertaker early in his career. Even though we never saw Undertaker and Goldberg back in the day. Or, Kurt Angle. Bray Wyatt's not a guy I really look at as a technician. Bray Wyatt's had some great matches. But most of his best matches have been with guys that are better than him. That have led him to great matches. Look at Daniel Bryan. Like, Bray Wyatt had 2 matches with Seth Rollins. Neither one of those matches weren't good at all. His match at Hell in a Cell, we all know how awful that was. And his match at Crown Jewel, it was a little bit better, but it wasn't anything special. What do you expect Bray Wyatt to do in the ring with Goldberg? Honestly, another thing, what has Goldberg done? I'm not seeing anybody mention this. Everyone's so excited for Goldberg and Bray Wyatt. I'm like, why are you excited? As in, what has Goldberg done to earn any opportunity? To me, it seems like Goldberg is just coming back for another payday. Because WWE's paying him a hell of a lot of money to wrestle at Super Showdown. Just because he's Goldberg. People think, just because he's Goldberg, they're going to watch. Yeah, anybody that watched Undertaker versus Goldberg, that is coming back to watch this match, and is not somebody like me who covers WWE for a living, I have to ask, why? What would make you want to come back to see him in the ring again? As a fan, what would make you want to come back and see Goldberg in the ring again? I really don't understand it. I really don't. Goldberg hasn't done jack shit. So Goldberg just thinks, oh, because I'm Goldberg. The guy hasn't wrestled in about a year. But he thinks just because I'm Goldberg, I'm WWE Hall of Famer, right? I can just do some random interview in Texas and just be like, yeah, oh, I can't face Lesnar right now because he's occupied. But yeah, let me just get a free Universal Championship opportunity against Bray Wyatt when I've done nothing to earn one. Even though, Wyatt doesn't really have any other opponents right now, this is just a way for Bray Wyatt to get through to WrestleMania before he goes up against Roman Reigns, which I know you guys are so excited about, because I am so excited for Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt, just like I'm so excited for Goldberg and Bray Wyatt. You guys can hear the sarcasm in my voice, right? You guys can hear it, right? Like, come on. What do you guys expect? I'm telling you guys right now, Goldberg could hit 4 or 5 spears on Wyatt, and Wyatt's gonna kick out of all of them at 1.5. He's gonna go for 2 jackhammers, and Wyatt's gonna kick out of all of them at 1.5, maybe 2. And then after, Goldberg's gonna go for a spear or another jackhammer. Wyatt's gonna reverse it into a Sister Abigail. 1, 2, 3. There's no chance in hell that Goldberg's defeating Bray Wyatt. As much as I know WWE wants to do Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. They want to do Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, and or Roman Reigns versus The Rock. But they're not going to do that at Super Showdown. I know WWE's tempted. I know they're tempted. I know Vince McMahon is sitting at his desk going, man, imagine if I could have Roman Reigns and Goldberg main event WrestleMania. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. Not a chance in hell. I'll say this, I won't be surprised because I will be at SummerSlam this year. And just for the sheer fact that I'm going to SummerSlam, wants WWE punish me by giving me Goldberg and Roman Reigns in the main event of SummerSlam this year. It's coming. It's coming. This company, man, they are absolutely ridiculous. Goldberg is going to give you a preview of how many spears it's going to take Roman Reigns to beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Goldberg's not going to defeat. He's not going to defeat Bray Wyatt. But he'll come close enough that it'll give Roman Reigns a hint of how many spears it's going to take him to defeat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Let's just, take a guess. If it takes Goldberg 2 spears to defeat, if it takes, Goldberg 2 spears to put Bray Wyatt on the ropes, it'll take Roman Reigns 4 spears to beat Bray Wyatt for the Universal title at WrestleMania. It's gonna happen, guys. Goldberg versus Bray Wyatt. It's just for just to get part-timer on Super Showdown, because Goldberg's gonna get paid a hell of a lot of money for this crap, even though the guy knows deep down he shouldn't be in the ring anymore. And it's just to get Bray Wyatt another championship defense to get him through to WrestleMania. I'm not gonna sit here and lie though. The interaction between the two tonight were pretty amazing. After Goldberg made his challenge, the screen panned over to the Firefly Funhouse with breaking news. We got this. You guys can see that in the thumbnail of this video. Bray Wyatt was in a suit. The guy looked pretty clean. And basically, Wyatt, he's playing his typical mind games. Basically trying to warn Goldberg that it would not be a good idea for him to challenge the Fiend to a match. But still, Bray Wyatt goes into his creepy voice. He goes like, he accepts. So it's official, Wyatt versus Goldberg at Super Showdown for the Universal title. But the interaction was pretty clean because Goldberg, they went split screen and Goldberg give it a smile. He's like, "Yeah, stop it. Your mind games don't intimidate me." You know, the only thing I'm taking from you at Super Showdown is the Universal title because the Fiend Bray Wyatt, you're next. All I can hope for is that Goldberg gets us a better performance than he did at Super Showdown against the Undertaker last year. Hopefully, I'm not expecting Goldberg to come out there and give us a 5-star match. It's never gonna happen. I'm just hoping Goldberg could just at least stay on his feet long enough to give us a better performance than he did last year. Because what we saw last year was a travesty. It was. I knew Undertaker vs Goldberg was not gonna be good, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as that he was. Let's just hope Goldberg could give us a better performance this time around. And that's about it. Why did the let me in thing, and the screen goes to red like usual with the Fiend's face showing up as we go to break. It was a great segment. I'm not excited about the match. Next up, we had Daniel Bryan versus Heath Slater. So Daniel Bryan backstage. Bryan was watching the interaction between Goldberg and the Fiend, and you could tell, Daniel Bryan had a good feud with Bray Wyatt over the last 2 months. Definitely it was probably the best thing on SmackDown. While we've been going through this Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns bullshit. But yes, as he's watching, Daniel Bryan, it's basically he's look like he still hasn't 100% recovered from his strap match with Wyatt. Heath Slater, I forgot Heath Slater was on the roster. This was hilarious. Heath Slater, man, I'm surprised he wasn't wearing the I Got Kids shirt. But Heath Slater, glorified jobber, of course, sits next to Daniel Bryan and he just says a bunch of wrong stuff. He's just saying, man, it must have been painful to get beat by Bray Wyatt after all these things he said about your family and blah, 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 bliss, and blah, 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 that. And then Daniel Bryan was like, first of all, your thing must be thinking of The Miz. He never said anything really bad about my family, But Heath Slater just kept saying a bunch of bullcrap. And then eventually, Daniel Bryan is like, hey, Heath, I like you, but come face me in the ring right now. This was basically, have Daniel Bryan, blow up some steam. This match went 2 minutes at best. Bryan just beat the shit out of Heath. Did all of his normal moves, running knee, your bell lock, yes kicks. You guys understand him. It's good to see, Daniel Bryan be okay. I thought maybe there was a chance Daniel Bryan might go back to being a heel, but instead, no, Daniel Bryan's still a babyface. Good to see the yes chance continuing to go on. What's gonna be interesting to see is where does Daniel Bryan go now? Back a while back before Bryan versus Wyatt, I thought we were gonna get Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC Championship. Well, things changed and Wyatt went after Bryan, and then Strowman is now IC champion. I wouldn't mind seeing Daniel Bryan get in the IC Championship picture, but it would be interesting. I've been thinking I don't see Strowman holding that championship for long. I think eventually someone like maybe Sheamus will probably take the title off of Strowman. Who knows? Maybe we could get a rematch of WrestleMania 28. You guys remember all those years ago in Miami when Sheamus beat Bryan in like 10 seconds when Bryan did like a pre-match kiss to AJ? Maybe we get something like that. I don't know. But it's just going to be interesting to see. Daniel Bryan really has no direction. Maybe they have him feud with Baron Corbin, after Corbin's finally done with Roman Reigns. I don't know. I personally think Bryan's going to probably get moved to like Monday Night Raw once we have a superstar shakeup. There's really not, much else for Bryan to do on SmackDown. He's done it all. I think a change of scenery is definitely would be good for Bryan. Plus, there would be a lot of good opponents for Bryan on Raw. So who knows? I'm just thinking Bryan versus McIntyre, Bryan versus Rollins. You could always do Bryan versus Styles again, with the roles being reversed, with Bryan as the babyface now and Styles as the heel. There's definitely things you can do. And now I'm probably gonna speed through these couple other segments. So last week, you guys know Strowman defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to become the new IC champion. Renee Young was in the ring to interview him. It felt kind of weird to see Renee Young in the ring. I know she's been working with WWE for a long time now, but I think I've gotten so used to seeing her on WWE Backstage, the Fox show. It's been a while since we've seen Renee Young in the ring. Plus, she was on commentary, so it just felt weird to see Renee doing interviews in the ring again. But still, anyway, you could see Strowman was still emotional after winning the IC Championship. It was his first singles career win, or singles championship win. And basically, he talked about how he had done it all, winning the Greatest Royal Rumble, winning the Raw Tag Team Championship multiple times, once with Seth Rollins and once with a 8-year-old kid. And now he had done it all. Well, he hasn't done it all. He hasn't won a major championship, even though I don't want to see Strowman as world champion, but you guys get what I'm saying. Then Sami Zayn came out with Shinsuke Nakamura, and, Zayn said that Strowman's win was a fraud, and, Strowman to do the right thing and give Nakamura a rematch. Strowman stopped Zayn midway and said, if Nakamura wants to get these hands one more time, definitely he could have a rematch. So I'm willing to bet we'll probably get Strowman and Nakamura in their rematch at Super Showdown. Alright, because Strowman wanted to face Nakamura right there tonight. But Zayn was like, we're going to do this on our time. We're going to be smart and tactical about this. We're not going to do it in a place like San Jose, blah, blah, blah. The Revival hit the ring, and, they attacked Strowman. It was basically 4-1, but Strowman fought back, and, he was chasing Sami Zayn around the ring, but then right as Zayn, ran right back in the ring, Strowman followed. He got hit right in the head with a Kinshasa, all right? And the heel stand tall to close the segment. I didn't really care about this at all. I know you guys didn't really care about this either. This was honestly whatever. It's whatever. We're probably going to see the rematch between Strowman and Nakamura at, Super Showdown, but I didn't care about this at all. And I know you guys didn't care about this either. Like, this is my problem with one of my problems with SmackDown. They keep doing rematches of matches we don't care. Like, for real, you gave us Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin again. You're giving us Strowman versus Nakamura again. You're giving us Sheamus and Chad Gable again. Like, come on. Your roster has way too much talent for crap like this. I don't want to see these matches again. I know you guys don't want to see them either. Like, it's common sense, WWE. Common sense. Next up, we had Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. We already talked about Otis and Tucker preparing for Otis's date with Mandy next week. But we had Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. This match lasted like 40 seconds. I forgot Apollo Crews was on SmackDown. Like, dang, Apollo Crews is legit fallen into way more than jobber territory at this point. Like, if I'm Apollo Crews, I would just ask if I could get sent back down to NXT. Same thing with Drew Gulak. I'll do the same thing if I was in EC3. Like, talent like that is too good to be wasted in catering on the main roster. Like, I feel bad for Apollo Crews. The guy has some legit talent. There was a time when I thought Apollo Crews could be built into an IC champion or a United States champion. But WWE never saw that in him, and now he's a legit jobber. He got hit with a bro kick about 30 seconds into the match. Then after the match, it looked like he was teasing hitting another bro kick, but then Chad Gable got one. Well, Chad Gable entered the ring. 10 seconds later, he got hit with a bro kick himself. So, this was just a way for Sheamus to look strong. It wasn't needed. It was just there to fill time. Didn't really care about it. I know you guys didn't care about it either. Alright? I honestly think Sheamus is eventually going to be the guy to take the IC title from Strowman. No matter if that's like at Elimination Chamber or even WrestleMania on the pre-show. That's my thoughts on that. And lastly, before we get out of here, I'm surprised we're actually going to almost hit an hour. We had the Fatal 4-Way #1 contender match between Carmella, Bliss, Naomi, and Dana Brooke. Can I ask, why the hell was Dana Brooke in this match? She is absolute trash. Trash. Like, why did you have Dana Brooke in this match and not somebody like a Nikki Cross? I'm not asking for Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans is garbage. And yes, Naomi being back, she does add, a level of relevancy to the SmackDown division. She is a quality name with legit talent. She's a former 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. And I thought that, they would give us Naomi versus Bayley because Bayley has been the SmackDown Women's title champion all the way basically since May of last year. Other than the 5 days that, she didn't hold that championship. When they gave it to Charlotte to make Charlotte into a 10-time champion, Bayley's been the owner of that belt. She's the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in history, and she's great at what she does. But if you look at her reign, what has she done with that championship? Like, is there one match? Honestly, is there even one match that you can look at with Bayley that defines her reign as champion? To me, no, I can't think of that. Her reign has not been great at all. She's went up against Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon. I thought the Ember Moon match would be the match that defined her reign as champion, but no, none of her reigns had defined her as champion. None of her matches have at all. She hasn't had one match that really stands out during her run. It's been more disappointing. Just like Becky Lynch as Raw Women's Champion has been disappointing. The Lacey Evans feud was awful. And I was thinking, we're getting all these rumors of us finally getting Bayley versus Sasha, which would make the argument that Bayley versus Sasha, if booked correctly, could be the main event of WrestleMania. I'm talking about on a higher level than Lesnar and McIntyre and Roman and Wyatt. Bayley versus Sasha has the chance to be the best match at WrestleMania. By far. By far. But, I was thinking, give Bayley some legit momentum. Give us Bayley versus Naomi. Naomi is probably the only person other than Sasha Banks that can actually give you a damn good match. Naomi's not on the level of Sasha Banks, but she can give you a really good match. And with someone as good as Bayley, what's there not to like? The only thing I could think about is because Naomi just came back. She hasn't wrestled in almost a year, and she looked pretty good in the ring tonight. Naomi carried that match tonight. She carried it. While Dana and Carmella, and Alexa all took turns, wrestling on the outside. Naomi looked great out there tonight. And I thought it would make the most sense for us to get a Naomi and Bayley feud, to give Bayley a good feud, a really good match, to build more momentum going into her feud with Sasha into WrestleMania. I guess I was wrong on that. They decided to give us Carmella tonight. Carmella's not terrible in the ring or anything. I don't care about Carmella. She's not terrible in the ring. She's the former SmackDown Women's Champion, former Miss Money in the Bank. She's not bad in the ring, but I don't care about Bayley versus Carmella. Legit, when I look at Bayley versus Carmella, I just look at Lacey Evans, but, just another version of Lacey Evans. Because I see Carmella and I just see another blonde. Another blonde. Really? I'm not really excited for that match at Saudi Arabia. If it was a decent match, yeah, I'll applaud it, but I'm not excited about it at all. I have to be honest with you guys. And I hope you guys can see where I'm coming from. It would have made much more sense, in my opinion, to give us Bayley versus Naomi. But honestly, whatever, because even if it was Naomi or Carmella or Dana Brooke or Nikki Cross or Alexa, none of them are beating Bayley. Nobody. The person that's going to take the SmackDown Women's Championship from Bayley is going to be Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. We all know it. We all know it. Sasha's the only person that's going to take that title from Bayley. And that's about that. And like that, that's where I'm going to end tonight's podcast. I'm very surprised that I went over an hour. I don't know how I did it. I thought this would be 30 minutes at best. But hey, I guess I forget how much I can talk sometimes. But if you guys made it to the end of the review, thank you guys. Give yourself a pat on the back. I really appreciate the support. I love you guys so much. As always, guys, make sure to go check out my Monday Night Raw review if you haven't yet. We'll be right back with another Raw review, as always, right after Raw goes out off the air. I'll keep you guys informed all things WWE. I'll keep you guys updated on Sasha Banks' injury with the ankle and when she's coming back and all that good stuff. But thank you guys for once again coming to join me tonight on the Legit Shoot podcast. You know, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Also, make sure to follow me on social media. The links to that are in the description down below. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, guys. Peace.